Bitcoin bounces, what next? Hi, it's Charlie giving you Saturday's video. I'm actually recording this on Saturday as well for a change, not in advance of. So, excuse me. Daily chart of Bitcoin. Thursday, we got the reversal day in line with the stock markets. Everything reversed on Thursday, and so nice reversal there. Really got close to 25,000, depending on the exchange you're looking at here. Yeah, it came down into that sort of zone there for Bitcoin. So what we need to do is come out to the slightly larger time frames, the weeklies and the monthly charts, so to get a better picture here. So I've been looking at Bitcoin for, it seems, for ages, and looking for this channel that it had to break, and for Bitcoin to break those lows. So I've been interviewed over the last several months and talking about this pattern, and ultimately was saying that if we came back down for this low of this channel, then we should want to take these lows out from last year. We've done that now. So is this it? Is this a good buying opportunity? Well, again, if you were a long-term bull of Bitcoin, then certainly now it's taken out the lows of 2021, of June 21. Then actually, yes, that would be be seen. I would see that if I was a long-term bull of Bitcoin, then I would be seeing that as a buying opportunity. Yes, the fact that we've come down. It's not to say that price can't come lower. In fact, I have some arguments for why I think that Bitcoin might actually still come lower. We'll go through that in a moment. But if you are a long-term investor, then you pick levels, and the best long-term investment strategies are really pound cost averaging. They are not good trading strategies, but they are good investment strategies. So where you buy some, and then you plan ahead to say, right, every month or every quarter I will buy some more, whatever price it's at, and that's what traditionally people do in stocks, stock investments. And so now, you'd only do that if you had a very strong view here. And I must admit that as much as people believe in Bitcoin, it's still a speculative investment. And it's still a very volatile asset class. And so if you're wanting to do that, you've really got to believe in it. You've got to allocate capital that you can afford to lose, because it's still a highly volatile investment. However, if that's your choice, then yes, having broken those lows, this would certainly be like a stage one. It could be. Now, what Bitcoin hasn't done as yet is come down to test its last prior highs. If we go to the monthly chart here, many of you will be well aware of that, and it's the December 2017 highs, which a few months ago looked very, very unlikely to get tested, and now we're really not that far off of them. So that's at 20,000. My 50-month moving average is here in that zone as well, and if we take us back to the weekly charts, it's the weekly 200 moving average in that area as well. So there is increased odds now. Now we have broken down, that price does come down and visit that old high there, the December, because markets do like to do that. They do like to retest old highs. And after it broke out, it never actually got to do that. So, and now the chances of that happening have increased. So from a sentiment perspective, I think I've been wanting this to happen for Bitcoin, because there's just too many investors out there thinking it's going to the moon and have that sort of mindset towards it. Look, I don't mind if people, the people who have done a lot of work and into their investments and understand the market, that's different. What I'm talking about is the weak hands, the people who just got into Bitcoin because and cryptos because they were going up and it was easy money. Those are the people that the market just needed to clear out, and it's been clearing out over this last 8 months or so now. So, and then once they stop to believe in it, then they'll just move on to other asset classes or throw the towel in and put their little broker apps down away and get on with something else. So I think it's a good that's a good thing that we clear out those types of people, because any asset class, if you've got those sorts of people in, it tells you that you're in a bubble, because when you get people who are attracted to an investment purely because it's going up, and that's what asset bubbles are all about, you're in the latter stages of it. Trying to time the actual stage is not easy, because they can carry on going on further than you think, but you know that you're in the latter stages of that. But when you clear them out, what actually happens is, let's assume that Bitcoin comes down here maybe, and actually in the coming months does bottom. Let's assume that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a minute actually. And so let's assume it does. What would happen is, as it comes up, it will do little pullbacks along the way as well. And those people who have got burned won't believe that this is the next turn. And so they won't want to commit into what is the next bull run, if there is going to be a next bull run on this. And so that's the mark of a good market, that it throws off the masses. They don't want to get in. They've been burnt in the past. They don't want to get in, and they think this is just going to be another failed run sort of thing. And every time they see a pullback, they see that as confirmation that, oh yes, it is just a failed run. It's going to roll over now. So, and that's a good healthy thing, that we keep them out of the market, and that helps with a bull run there. So the only other thing I think you have to consider is, you have to ask yourself, what's your view on the stock market at the moment? So if I bring the stock market up, there we go. Okay, so this is the weekly chart of the S&P now. Very similar sort of charts, and of course I could have brought the Nasdaq up, but I brought the S&P 500 up. The S&P this past couple of traded days has had a nice reversal, but you have to ask yourself, what's your overall view of the stock market right now? If you are highly bullish of the stock market right now, then that would be a good sign for you to go into Bitcoin. If you are bearish on the stock market right now, then you might want to wait a bit on the likes of Bitcoin, because the correlation between Bitcoin and the stock market has been quite strong. So if the stock market is going to, if you think it's going to continue to coming down, then it's likely that Bitcoin and the likes will be as well. So just bear that in mind. My overall view for the stock market is, the S&P hasn't even done quite a 38% retracement. It avoided it got really close. 38% retracement on mine charts comes out around about 38.11. So just a bit lower than where we got to this week. So we didn't quite get to a 38% retracement. Now, funny enough, at that level, that would put the S&P technically into a bear market. That would make for great stories in newspapers and the press and the likes, and articles and online and stuff, be a lot of fanfare if the market came down that far. So I'm still leaning to the market coming down that far, because I just think that it will be suit the newspaper writers and the likes, the journalists, and so my view is that we still have headwinds at the moment, and I might be wrong, of course, but that's my view, that we have these headwinds going forwards, and so that I still think the stock market is a bit vulnerable at some point to come lower. It's had a pretty good rundown, so it could do a bit of a bounce for a while. But I still think it's going to be vulnerable. So I'm not saying, oh yeah, next week it's coming down, because no, it could be bouncing for some time. But on that basis, that brings us back to Bitcoin, and has Bitcoin bottomed? Personally, I think that there's still that potential for it to come lower, and so in answer to my own question, I don't think it has. Have a lovely weekend, and I shall be seeing you next week.